with sleet, ice, and by Monday, extremely cold temperatures. This storm has the potential to deliver every winter weather option that Mother Nature has. We will be aggressive in managing this storm, during which snowfall rates could exceed between 1 and 2 inches per hour in some areas of the state. Safety of the citizens of Pennsylvania. If you don't have to travel, please don't. Please heed the warnings from emergency responders and personnel, and remember to check on your neighbors, especially your elderly neighbors. It's the perfect weekend to do 3 things: stay home, spend time with your family, or read a good book. This morning, I signed a state of emergency declaration to allow for increased assistance with storm-related needs in the state. The declaration of an emergency allows for additional help from neighboring states and standing up the Pennsylvania National Guard to ensure a swift response to possible changing needs. The emergency declaration also authorizes state agencies to use all available resources and personnel as necessary to cope with the magnitude and severity of the storm. The time-consuming bid and contract procedures, as well as other formalities normally prescribed by law, are waived for the duration of the proclamation, so we can move quickly where we have to. It's important to note that the declaration does not restrict citizens. Ought to be aware of restrictions and heed the guidance of local authorities. To further ensure safety, the Commonwealth will impose speed restrictions, will impose a ban on all commercial traffic, including buses, on most interstates and on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. The vehicle bans will allow our snowplow crews to have weather. So again, I urge motorists to use caution during the storm. As I said, postpone your travel if at all possible. Reduce your speeds. Beware of the potential for rapidly changing weather and roadway conditions. Things will change fast at different parts of the state at different times. Stay safe and warm, and know that the Commonwealth is doing everything it can to help weather this storm, no pun intended. Now, to give you an update on PEMA's preparedness, Randy Padfield, the acting director of PEMA, will be next. Randy. There you are.
Thank you, Governor Wolf. First of all, I'd like to echo Governor Wolf's message of safety. It's really key in these types of situations. Obviously, we've been modeling the storm to be able to refine tentative plans throughout the last 3 to 4 days. It's critical for us to be able to assess the impacts and consequences of a storm like this. So we've been working with the various state agencies over the last 3 days to be able to better prepare for this and understand the impacts. As we move forward, today there's been a large flurry of activity. We've conducted county coordination calls with all the counties and the 911 centers to assess their preparedness levels, understand any resource or capability gaps they happen to have, and actually look to close those gaps well in advance of the storm. So we have a resource plan to be able to assist any of those counties that are needed, and we also have open lines of communication with agency representatives from the various state agencies beginning at 0800 or 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And we will staff the center 24/7 through the duration of the storm and also after the storm to monitor for any additional impacts. This is a very severe storm, has a lot of potential, and it has a lot of different variables associated with it. The key is for us from a consequence management perspective is to remain flexible and nimble, to be able to monitor for any changes and to be able to respond to those changes in a expeditious fashion to be able to that we have or that they may have. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Secretary Richards from the Department of Transportation to brief on Department of Transportation issues.
Thank you. PennDOT is ready. Our equipment is positioned throughout the state. Our personnel are ready as well. This is a year's event. We have called for a full commercial vehicle ban, except on I-95, because southeastern Pennsylvania is anticipated not to be hit as strongly as the rest of the state. That is the only area that does not have the full commercial vehicle ban. It's the only interstate that does not have it. Again, that's I-95. It will be on from noon Saturday to noon Sunday. We've been working hard with our partners here at Pima, the Turnpike, and State Police to prepare for this weekend's storm. We reviewed plans this morning with our 11 engineering districts, and they're all ready to throw our best at this storm, which promises to be challenging, as was already highlighted. But I do want to point out there are points in the storm where we're anticipated we could receive 2 inches per hour, which is always extra challenging in any storm, particularly for our crews and for our plows. I'd love to remind everybody also to stay home if you can. Allow our equipment operators, our plow drivers, and our teams to go out there and do what they need to do. The commercial truck ban will help our crews as they work hard to keep the interstates, expressways, and other routes open. But the fact is travel will be very challenging this weekend, and the combination of heavy snow, high winds, sleet, freezing, and plain rain, and then a rapid drop in temperatures on Sunday, which could cause freezing in many areas. I urge people to not travel unless you have to, especially in northern parts of our state. If you must travel, please check 511PA for the latest conditions and see information, including the locations of our plows. Be prepared for extreme conditions and expect delays along your route. Always think safety first and drive according to conditions, not according to your schedule, particularly this weekend. Thanks so much. We're out and ready for the storm, but we would love your help, and that means please stay home if you don't need to be out. Thank you very much.
So any of us would be happy to take questions. Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering, the state of emergency and even the commercial ban, is that in response to kind of what happened in November with that snow? Is that kind of why all of this is happening?
No, we're trying to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep Pennsylvanians safe. And I think not just the storm in November, but other storms that have hit, we're very vulnerable with commercial vehicles getting stuck or jackknifing if they're tractor trailers. So we're just, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but this storm has the potential to really pack a wallop and really do some bad things for drivers in Pennsylvania. And we just want Pennsylvanians to be safe. So we're taking every precaution we know how to take, and we're hoping that this is enough to keep our citizens safe.
And following up on the commercial ban, what happens, I guess, if some of these commercial trucks are out on the road, are they getting fined? Like, what happens if something like that?
Yeah, sure. We're working closely with the state police, and they will be enforcing the bans. To your last question, we do an after-action review after every storm. We learn from every storm. Every storm is different, as you see with the meteorologists. If this were easy, everybody, would be doing it, right? Every storm has different elements, and this storm is no different. We are reacting to this storm with the seriousness it deserves. It is a statewide event. We are expecting the entire state to receive snow, as I mentioned, up to 2 inches an hour at some points. And so the ban on trucks is really going to help us do what we need to do.
To add to the Secretary's statement,
sure.
it is applicable underneath the vehicle code when these bans are put in place. There's a specific section that is basically a traffic citation up to a $300 fine. So.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Just be careful and be safe this weekend. Thank you.